It was vandalism like this that prompted the city to come up with a new idea. This wall. Now graffiti artists can express their creativity without defacing property. With record unemployment, there is a greater need than ever for organizations like this that help find employment but also offer networking. But what's unique about the Go Network is that these are strictly professionals, and right now there are 2,400 of them. 44-year-old letter carrier remains here tonight, now listed in stable condition. The shooting happened around 2 this afternoon while he was simply delivering mail. Another blow to the world of entertainment today. Now, Old Monroe's mayor says their main concern is future rain, but as far as here in Winfield at the high school, if you take a look over here, you can still see some activity in the background. They will continue to take out sandbags to that levee. Mayor Slay says major projects aren't dead, but they are scarce. However, he points out that the work being done here at the former St. Louis Center and that at the Union Pacific building represent $150 million of new development in downtown St. Louis. The economy has certainly held up financing, but today the cards, the city, and the developer announced that they have come to a new deal to develop this piece of land you see behind me. Easy to get out, not raining outside. It's a nice night out, right? Now, McCain said if he is elected president, he does plan to have Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney working by his side. There'll be no parking today because, as you can see, the water is preventing anyone from getting on the casino. However, the Mississippi River here is finally going down. Now, Water Patrol says Garinger was wearing a life jacket, and the water here on the Missouri River is below flood stage, but Water Patrol says it's still high and it is swift, and you get on this river at your own risk. Right now we're sitting on top of a flooded cornfield in Winfield, but the Mississippi River is actually a mile that way. Across the country, voters can choose from a paper ballot or an electronic one. Volunteers are being trained on both. There have been positive and negative things said about the City Museum, but one thing's for sure, kids here are having a ball. Well, 4 people are dead and several others injured after a casino bus overturned in Mississippi. Authorities say the Harrah's casino bus was taking a group of tourists to the airport when it crashed this morning. The accident happened in an area with several casinos along the Mississippi River in the northwest corner of the state. 43 people were on board, including the driver. New information today on that American tourist stabbed to death in Beijing yesterday. He has ties to the metro area. The 29th Olympiad is underway in Beijing, China. That's after a spectacular 4-hour opening ceremony kicked things off. It's being called the largest and most expensive opening ceremony in Olympic history. A worldwide audience estimated at 4 billion people tuned in to see the more than 30,000 fireworks. Now, the date, 8808, is significant because in Chinese culture, the number 8 represents prosperity and confidence. This is the first time China has ever hosted the Olympic Games. A total of 8 people were exposed and started showing up at 3 area emergency rooms today. Now, some were complaining of respiratory problems. Then ER staff realized they had been exposed to nitroaniline, a potentially deadly chemical. Now, that's when St. Anthony's Hospital and DePaul Hospital were shut down and hazmat was called in. This was the scene today at St. Anthony's Hospital in South County and DePaul Hospital in Bridgeton. No one let in or out of the emergency rooms.
I said, how do we get in? And they said, you can't. They're closed down. That we had to go to another hospital.
We just don't know where we're going to go now. I guess we're going to urgent care.
Emergency responders say about 25 people in the ER were exposed at St. Anthony's Hospital after 3 people showed up here suffering respiratory problems and with white powder on them.
One of the individuals apparently was fairly serious. We had other people that were exposed.
So hazmat crews were called in and the hospital went on lockdown. Patients were kept in their rooms and the ER quarantined, its ventilation system and water shut down.
We don't feel this was a gas type situation where it was going to go airborne. It was a powder situation where you actually had to have it come in contact.
Well, there was absolutely no panic by visitors or staff, which was encouraging to see. And people were going about calmly doing their jobs.
Investigators determined the chemical the patients were exposed to was nitroaniline.
It's a toxin and is highly poisonous. It affects the respiratory system, along with it can get into the bloodstream.
They believe they came in contact with it here in East St. Louis. Police are now investigating. Authorities think the lid came off a drum containing the chemical. That's when the 8 people were exposed.
All the hospitals in the metro area already have decontamination processes built in for cases like this.
They continued to be treated tonight. Meanwhile, other patients at the hospital were triaged outside and allowed to go home.
I don't know, they just told everybody you can't leave, you have to wear masks. But everything seems to be okay now, they let us go.
Now, one person also went to Barnes Hospital. No word on their condition, but the ER there is operating tonight. However, St. Anthony's and DePaul ERs are still closed tonight as they undergo decontamination.
The description at that time.
It's Friday night in St. Louis. Officers with the Crime Suppression Unit are hitting the streets, and we're going along. We start off in Lafayette Park. A woman was recently attacked and robbed here. Now 2 female undercover officers hope the attacker returns.
We have fixed posts throughout the park and on the corners, and there's people shadowing them inside the park.
It's an old tactic taken to new levels and producing more arrests. Police use surveillance like this to target hotspots. Although they don't get a hit every time, they say it's working. Now, although the decoys made it around Lafayette Park twice, nothing transpired there. So now we're heading out with the anti-crime unit. They target auto thefts. This team's been in place for a few years, but its tactics were so successful and the city saw such a significant drop in auto thefts, the new CSU is modeled after it.
Our first year in business, we had approximately a 25% drop. Second year, it went down to about 18, and it just continually has gone down since August of '03.
Detectives say they hope the entire CSU will soon show results like what we saw firsthand. The unit starts out searching for stolen cars listed on this hot sheet. They patrol neighborhoods known for car recovery. The tactic consistently comes through, even on this night. A stolen car is spotted and unmarked units come in from all areas of the city. We tail the target down Interstate 70, then Kings Highway. The driver has no idea.
Yeah, we're stopped at the light at Lexington and Kings Highway, still southbound. Appears there's only one occupant.
So this is a stolen car in front of us?
Right.
We follow, but don't want to be spotted, so another unit picks up the tail when the suspect turns off into a neighborhood. As he stops to pick up 3 passengers, detectives are setting up spike strips ahead of him. The plan is to flatten his tires and stop the car if he takes off.
Officers hitting his lights. If they don't pull over, they're going to get spiked.
So they spiked him twice. So all 4 tires should be down.
Get your running shoes on.
They're cutting north from the north alley of Denright.
Just let me out here.
The 4 flee the car and run, but detectives are right behind them. One is caught in an alley, and another is found hiding in a backyard. The third is picked up in a nearby park, and detectives have an ID on the 4th. They say the driver is a repeat offender. It's a lot of commotion for a car theft. Officers say there's a reason.
They all graduate from simple larceny to auto theft to more violent crimes.
Gabrielle Biondo, CW11 News.